First thing, Microsoft has published a blog about their identity priorities for 2020. It's kind of high level. A lot of it's like, great, what is this actually going to give me from a technology standpoint? But I think it's worth pointing out this is where Microsoft is focusing. The big things to me is, I'll just tell you what these are a little bit. Connect all apps and cloud resources, that's improvements to single sign-on. So if you're not integrating things for single sign-on, we need to talk. Second one is being able to have developers get their apps onboarded for single sign-on and integrated for the new cloud-based modern way of doing authentication and authorization. They're going to simplify that. And then another huge one here is automated access lifecycle for users. So this is who gets access when and how they request that, how you test that that access is still legitimate and still needed on a regular basis, and audit and track all that. Lots of neat stuff happening there. And then Microsoft's continual march towards passwordless. I've got a slide on the next page to talk more about that. So they're focusing more on that. We'll dig into that a little bit. And their zero trust. That's a really common industry buzzword right now, where you don't trust anybody. You instantiate at runtime the state of affairs and see if this is a valid thing or not, or a risky behavior or not. So more developments in that. So those are just some cool priorities. You can Google that name to get the big long URL of their blog if you're interested in that. So digging in a little bit to passwordless. So Microsoft's published kind of 4 steps. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Well, maybe. In short, define your passwordless and biometric strategy. Which devices will you allow them to use? Windows Hello, thumbprint, facial ID, etc. Move your identities to the cloud. Obviously, for all this to work, Microsoft is investing a whopping 0% for on-prem to do this passwordless stuff. Okay, if you want passwordless, you will be using Azure AD or some other cloud service. Okay, a big thing that they talked about, who wants to increase their security by 99.9%, meaning your odds of compromise are reduced by 99.9% when you turn on multi-factor. That's obviously a path towards passwordless login. Greg talked about ERP systems in the cloud and the more security that you can get from that. If you're not doing MFA and you're using ERP in the cloud, then Greg's gonna chop your head off and then come tell me to talk to you. So anyway, and then start piloting passwordless, okay? No reason why you can't do this today to get away from using passwords. Another quick little point I wanna mention here, a little tech tip here. Microsoft is supporting, or will be supporting soon, SMS authentication for the frontline workers. So traditional frontline workers are the people with F1 licenses, for example, and they get functionality with limited space, limited quantity of OneDrive and email space and things like that. And they can now not have to have a username and password, but they plug in their phone number, they get a text, they put the code in, and they're authenticated with just SMS. So super easy to onboard and offboard people and just let them use their phones for authentication. Kind of cool coming up. The last thing is Microsoft Endpoint Manager. If you don't know what that word means and you're doing Intune, then you need to know what Endpoint Manager is. So in short, the Intune admin console is not the strategic door to do all your device management in Office 365. It's now the official Endpoint Manager. This is a consolidated view for all of your quote device management. Nice new URL, devicemanagement.microsoft.com. It combines your Intune, your config manager, and the Office 365 endpoint tools all consolidated together in one house, in one view for your endpoint manager. There's new features and functionality that are coming here that aren't going anywhere else. So, for example, they just announced the Office app policies, which aren't necessarily deployed with Intune. These are tied to the apps specifically. So good stuff happening there. So that's what I've got as a summary for the security piece on Azure AD and some endpoint manager stuff. So I think that's where we're at.